Hi, I'm Amy with Following Hawks, and I am here today with Sharon White, who participated in the Earth Tenders Academy. Thank you so much for being here today. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your spiritual path or practice?
Yeah, like you said, my name is Sharon White. And so I would say, as far as my spiritual journey, it's been a fairly short one so far. I would say around summer 2017 was actually when I kind of, you know, found out about the Matrix. My life was opened, third eye awakened. Not quite that intense, honestly. It was a lot more subtle as far as how I kind of got on this journey, where it was really just someone that I knew had a friend of theirs that was able to connect with spirits and spirit guides and stuff like that. And just the fact that uh, someone that I knew had that experience really made me start to question life and my beliefs and what I believed in. And so grew up in a Christian background. And so I was just like, all right, this is true, but now I also believe this. How do you correlate the two or find balance with that? And so it was through that questioning that I just found a lot of things on the internet that started blowing my mind. As soon as I thought,
Puns.
angels, yeah, then, aliens come up and you're like, what? And so, yeah, so a lot of it's just been kind of a process of really just kind of exploring what's out there and kind of seeing what I feel is true and kind of just exploring the lands of where am I. And then with that, I would say about a year ago was when I started to actually try and actively meditate and actually try to figure out how to do this myself. And so that's where I found your course, Amy, and that course was actually the first course that I was able to take to where we actually got the experience. And it was really cool to actually see, oh my goodness, I can do this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And so,
Really?
yeah, and so that was the thing where, especially being able to talk to you guys about our experiences and be like, oh yeah, that's what I was picking up too, and being able to fully trust that in a way where, like, you can't say they didn't tap into that, because that's what you would, if you say that you weren't tapping into it. So then I'm like, all right, I could trust myself. And so building up that courage and confidence was a nice start. And so yeah, that was, what was it, 9 months ago at this point.
Just
So
about, yeah. I think the end of last summer, so yeah.
yeah. So since then, it's been on a journey. I've definitely started to become more in tune with just being able to connect and meditate. And actually, if there is something that I want to connect with, I can connect with something. Even if it might not happen right away, it will happen at some point.
It'll come. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's overall kind of how my spiritual journey has been so far.
Well, so when you decided to join the Earth Tenders Academy, like what were you hoping to learn?
Um, I don't know exactly what it was that I was wanting to learn. I think it was more of the fact that I just knew that this was an area, this was a like a shamanic side that I knew I was kind of attracted to, especially how it relates to the earth, just because, Earth Tenders Academy is in the name. And that's definitely something that I was really wanting to explore more. And so I would say with that, that's kind of the thing that really caught my attention and the thing that I really wanted to dive deeper into. And so I would say that's kind of the areas that I was wanting to learn more about and kind of explore in that area. And so I think that was probably the biggest thing. Plus, I follow you and really like how you just talk and handle things. And so I knew I was with a right person.
Well, thank you. Well, and so then once you got into it and started learning more or, going through the course, 3 things would you say were most interesting or that you enjoyed the most about it?
Yeah, so I would say first the first thing that I really liked was I think it was the first meditation that we did where we call in our guardian spirits and our guardians for the land and our homes. And it was through that meditation where I actually felt like I was able to like connect with something. And I'm like, okay, something's here. All right, cool. I did it. I did
Sure.
it on my own. Yeah. And so that was like the first experience that we had. And it was also one where I felt I was able to feel that protected space where it like brought that feeling where, all right, I know I have some big guns here. And that feeling that I got with that was something that it's a difference between conceptually or intellectually knowing something that's there versus actually being able to feel that,
Mm.
like really feel that. And so that was definitely one of my favorite things that I was able to experience for myself. And then because I was going through the live course, the meditation classes that we would have every week was something that I found to be so valuable, just because the thing that I think a lot of other people might say is just the fact that you're able to talk about your experiences and see how they correlate with other people's experiences is something that just there's such a huge validation in that that I found to really help build my confidence and being able to actually start trusting with what I'm getting. Just because I would consider myself a novice at this point, but it's like once you're able to actually validate and talk with how people are connecting with things, some of the things that you might have doubt when you're in the meditation, I would like not always say it just because I wasn't sure about it. And then seeing someone else tap into that, I'm like, oh, okay. So that's something that I was keying into. And it's through that experience where after multiple meditations that we've had and actually sharing our experiences and just talking about it, I was able to learn more about what was kind of me just not sure what's up versus what is something that I might be tapping into. And also what's something that I might be connecting with, but it's not quite what it is, and how to actually dig deeper into it to figure out what it is. So it's very much being able to learn my own discernment or
Yeah.
how my instruments works and being able to tune it into a way that actually works for me in a way that I can start really trusting into that. So that was another thing. And then just the wide range of experiences, I think, that you kind of talk about, or topics, I would say, in the course was really cool just because they were all areas that I never had even touched or researched about or heard about as well. And so just all the different areas that I was just like, oh, there's all these things that I wanted to look into and explore more. So things like the living library was something that I never heard that was really cool, and something that I knew was just like, there's something there that the soul is calling towards. Yeah. And the fact that you were so heavy on the ancestry as well, I found to be something where I could feel there was a resistance within myself. And so that was a way for me to be like, all right, there's something here. I'll need to work through it. All right, cool. But it's like the fact that I could still see, even though there's stuff there, the benefits to actually connecting with the ancestors, and also why it matters, I think is really important. Just because I don't hear a lot of people talking about ancestors and the work that they do and why it's needed to connect with them. So I found that was an interesting perspective uh, to, widen my brain.
Yeah, it's so interesting, all of the different layers on the earth once you start, peeling things back and going deeper than just, the trees and the and the
Yeah.
plants. There's so much more underneath. So yeah, I really love working with the ancestors and having that experience too. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Definitely.
Well, so how would you find that your practice has changed as a result of your experience with earth tenders?
Yeah. So I could definitely there's definitely a moment between before I took your course versus after. Before I'd kind of meditate, not really know exactly how to like actually focus into something. And I think that was the biggest thing that I lacked was actually knowing almost like the steps or like the how to's of how to actually meditate and connect with spirit and just energy, just because that's definitely something that I was wanting to learn how to do. And so actually going through the course and through the experiences and just kind of seeing how you structure the meditations, I was able to then kind of follow the meditation steps almost that you would do to actually explore and do my own meditations as well. And
Create
so,
experiences.
yeah, yeah. And so definitely I would say after I've taken the course, I think the thing that I think was different is that I didn't have the anxiety of not knowing how to actually connect with something. Just because I think there was a lot of fear with, oh, how do I do this? I don't know if I'm doing this correctly or if I'm even going to connect with the right thing because who knows what's out there.
Yeah.
Um, and so actually feeling like there's a safe space around me and that I can do it. Honestly, it was like a huge confidence thing and a belief and trust and faith that I can do this if I want to. And that was I think the key difference. And so then I was just like, all right, cool, I can do this. And so
Yeah,
started yeah.
totally can.
It was almost like rather since I, did the course, was I got my book, learned how to do it. I can actually, write my own book on how to do things now. And so it was very much of enabling me to do this on my own.
That's amazing. I love it. So you've touched on this a little bit, but like, are there any specific new skills you feel that have come forward as a result of doing this work?
Yeah. So I would say the new skills would be being able to connect with an energy that I wasn't quite familiar with. So um, I remember there was a point where I ended up connecting with an Atlantean aspect, and I'm like, Atlantean as or just like the whole Atlantean energy isn't something that I was super interested in. And so when that energy came into my meditation, I'm like, okay, hello. And so actually being able to connect with things that I might not have intentionally connected with, but being able to open up the space to being able to open myself up to other things that I can connect with has been something that is really cool.
It
Yeah,
is.
so yeah, that was one. And then there's another being that came in. And so it's just really, really awesome to be able to not know who you're connecting with initially. And, there's a vetting process,
Right.
but from from that, being able to introduce yourself and being able to be introduced to another energy and figuring out what they're about has been something new that I've been uh, introduced to, and it's been interesting, but also really cool because this is what I've been wanting to get to, and it's starting to happen. So it's
Yay.
super.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I hope happens.
Yeah. It's happening.
Yes, perfect,
Yes.
amazing. Okay, so finish this sentence, if you will. I almost didn't join the Earth Tenders Academy because.
That didn't happen because I wanted to join.
You were kidding.
Yeah. As soon as I saw this was a thing, I'm like, sign me up. Um,
Amazing.
but if there was something that would have prevented me from joining, I think it would be if I didn't want to put in the effort to actually go through the efforts to actually go through the course. I think that would be the thing. If I didn't want to do that, then that would prevent me from taking the course, I think. But
Yeah,
especially
and
with
it's I mean, it's a good point that you make even on all of the exercises and everything else. Like ultimately, we have to do the meditations, we have to do the experiences or do the exercises. But when we do, amazing things open up and
Mhm. Yeah.
amazing experiences happen. So
Mhm.
yeah, so good. That's a good point. So if you were going to recommend this to somebody else, like is there a specific type of person or that you would recommend this to, or and why that person?
Yeah. So I would say I would recommend this to people that are really wanting to learn how to connect with earth energies and the different types of earth energies, just because there's a lot of work that Amy has put out with this course. One, to actually give you the experience to learn how to connect with these as far as what different types of earth energies that there are. And also, if, at least for me, if you're not someone that is super gifted in the psychic department, um, for me, I found this to be a very great experience to actually practice that muscle and stretch that muscle out, and work it out and gain its strength. And so, even if you're not into or not really invested in learning about the earth energies, I think just the practice of the meditations is also really helpful too. So people that are really wanting to just develop that ability for themselves, I would say this would be a great course to get yourself through that. Plus, there's a wonderful community at the end that you're able to just talk and chat. Everybody puts amazing posts.
I know, I love the group as well. It's really fun to be able to connect with everybody and um, have the opportunity to talk about some of these more esoteric things with other people who are into it. So it's fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely people that are wanting to at least just talk to like-minded people. I think there's a lot of talk of people being in, the spiritual closet. This has been a really wonderful community that's been built where everyone is just really curious about what's there. And so a lot of people just will post about their own experience and kind of wondering what's up, and people are able to at least get their own input, um, or just being able to find other like beauties of life is wonderful too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you chatting with me and sharing all about your experiences. And obviously, if anybody's watching and you're interested in working with me in this way or joining the Earth Tenders Academy, then check it out and learn all about it. So thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate it. And I'll see everybody soon.